Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back once again to Today in African History with Baba Shaka. I'm Baba Shaka, and today is February 1st, 2021. It is also the beginning of Black History Month, African History Month, African American History Month, whichever you want to call it. I've heard it called by all of those accolades. It is a time when many of us feel the need or the obligation to look deeper into our history. It is also a time when some of us feel we don't need to know much about history, and February is the shortest month, and blah, 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 blah. And thirdly, there's a bunch of us who are ignorant that Black History Month even exists. So let's take a look at Black History Month. Carter G. Woodson created Negro History Week in 1926, not to create a box or a limited period for when we can or should celebrate our history, but rather to celebrate the culmination of the past year of study and learning. The general rule intended was for us to actually study our history outside of February and then celebrate what we have learned in February. Over the years, I and many of you have heard complaints and jokes about February being given to us because it is the shortest month of the year. And as a community, we consistently celebrate the same 5 or so personalities from 2 periods of our very long history. It is either slavery or civil rights. And while these 2 periods and their contributing heroes and heroines did make our community and the world better, they have been rendered mostly harmless by presenting them as song bites, speech quotes, and t-shirts. Most of our children and many adults think that Dr. King only had a dream. Rosa Parks had sore feet, and the only thing that Malcolm X ever said was, "by any means necessary." Let us take a closer look at the father of Black History Month. Carter G. Woodson was the second African to receive a doctorate from Harvard after W.E. Du Bois. Known as the father of Black history, Woodson dedicated his career to the field of African American history and lobbied extensively to establish Black History Month as a nationwide institution. He also wrote many historical works, including the 1933 book, The Miseducation of the Negro. He died in Washington, D.C. in 1950. Carter Godwin Woodson was born on December 19, 1875, in New Canton, Virginia, to Anna Eliza Riddle Woodson and James Woodson. The fourth of 7 children, young Woodson worked as a sharecropper and a miner to help his family. He began high school in his late teens and proved to be an excellent student, completing a 4-year course of study in less than 2 years. After attending Berea College in Kentucky, Woodson worked for the U.S. government as an education superintendent in the Philippines. He undertook more travels before returning stateside to continue his studies, earning his bachelor's and master's degrees from the University of Chicago. Woodson went on to receive a doctorate, as I mentioned before, from Harvard University in 1912, becoming just the second African to earn a PhD from the prestigious institution after Du Bois. After finishing his education, Woodson dedicated himself to the field of African American history. In 1915, Woodson helped found the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, which was later renamed the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, which had the goal of placing African American historical contributions front and center. Woodson established the scholarly publication Journal of Negro History in 1916, and to help teachers with African American studies, he created the Negro History Bulletin in 1937. Woodson also formed the African American-owned Associated Publishers Press in 1921. Outside of his writing pursuits, Woodson held down several positions in academia. He served as principal of the Armstrong Manual Training School in Washington, D.C., before becoming a dean at Howard University and the West Virginia Collegiate Institute. Woodson wrote more than a dozen books over the course of his career, most notably The Miseducation of the Negro, written in 1933. With its focus on the Western indoctrination system and African American self-empowerment, Miseducation has become required reading at numerous colleges and universities, and some high schools. Additional books from the author include A Century of Negro Migration, written in 1918, The History of the Negro Church, written in 1921. The Negro in Our History, written in 1922. Woodson also penned the literature for elementary and secondary school students. Woodson lobbied schools and organizations to participate in a special program to encourage the study of African American history, which began in February 1926 with Negro History Week. The program was later expanded and renamed Black History Month. Woodson had chosen February for the initial week-long celebration to honor the birth months of abolitionists Frederick Douglass and President Abraham Lincoln. President Gerald R. Ford officially recognized Black History Month in 1976 by calling upon the public to, quote, seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history, unquote. Woodson died on April 3rd, 1950, a respected and honored figure who received accolades for his vision. His legacy continues on, with Black History Month being a national cultural force recognized by a variety of media formats, organizations, and educational institutions. Woodson's accomplishments are also remembered through the University of Virginia's Carter G. Woodson Institute for African American and African Studies, and the Dr. Carter G. Woodson African American Museum in St. Peters, Florida. Okay. I would like to give a special shout out to the brothers and sisters of the Woodson Banneker Jackson Bay Division number 330 UNIA ACL Rehabilitating Committee, who are helping to promote these daily lessons on their Facebook pages. Our goals are the same, and that's to enlighten African people of their glorious history. Again, my sincerest thanks to those of you who have become subscribers. For those of you who have not yet joined the family, this is a great time to do so. Just hit that subscribe button and whammo, you're in. So, inshallah, until tomorrow, when we meet again, this has been Baba Shaka with Today in African History. Masalam.